in India is really coming together. The number one is the devices front. The second one is the explosion of the data. The third thing is the cloud. And the fourth thing is the very collaborative ecosystem. Let me explain to you what I mean by the explosion of the data as an example. So today's world, you are basically capturing so much information about a consumer in from their mobile devices. So be it the location data, be it their purchase data, be it their e-commerce data, be it their social data, be it their tax data, be it their income tax file data. So there is so much of data today available with any government agency or any private sector startups to start their business. It's mind-blowing. So a lot of companies in the P2P lending space or M2P lending space is primarily using and leveraging this source of data to start making amazing sense out of it. That's the first thing which is happening, and it is your mobile devices which is basically emanating all of these data. Now, the one most critical thing is that as a user like you and me, who are always skeptical that while so much of my information I am emanating from my mobile devices, what happens that if that gets to be misused? And there are lots of discussion and a lot of active work currently is happening in terms of the way perhaps you give your user rights to people to use your data. And number one, that if you give user rights to people to use your data, then in what purpose they're using the data, okay? Do you have a choice to give in rights that, okay, I'm ready to give my rights to for the following two, but following three, I'm not okay to do that. And if you give those two rights, who are going to be using that? That's why I say that in a couple of decades, I would say that there is going to be one set of large banks which are going to be there, who are going to be creator of the products, like the typical banking products. And there is going to be a mass scale disruptors who are going to be sitting in the middle, who are going to be getting the source of the data. And with the user consent of having to use that data, they can start making wonderful meaning of those products in a digital distribution way. And then at the front end, you will have very small nimble-footed startups which are going to be making those data to start making targeted product offering for you. I clearly am very optimistic about this future possibilities. With a combination of the devices, data, analytics, and the cloud coming together, with the user acceptance and all those frameworks being placed for a wonderful future for Indian banking industry to have. So let me touch upon the privacy piece. Like for example, when you are going to Facebook and you are liking someone's page, you really do not know who is getting this data, right? You do not know. Because today Facebook is not regulated by any agency to publish the data for you. They are free to do whatever. And the most important problem is that you do not have any mechanism to go and tell Facebook, as an example, that you can use my data for the following purpose and you cannot use the data for the following purpose. So there is a federation which needs to happen where a user rights is to come in giving the access to the data to be used. And then there are likes of this LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and all of these people. They need to take that rights to start making meaningful insights. So I can tell you there are agencies, without naming them, who are creating modules by which you as a user is going to get a capsule in a way that basically it's like a body. You're going to say yes to that, and there are 5 options available for that. You say tuk, I'm okay for that, and it goes for an access. That access as a module is going to go to a provider, and that provider is going to take that to as an action item from his side to go and sell. And once you do that, it basically means that if, for example, you are liking a legal site, for example, and you are giving an access to your privacy rights for your likes to be used as a legal site's recommendation, then that legal site cannot use your recommendation for matrimony related issues, as an example, but it can use that for something to do with the child abuse, as an example. Yeah, so for that, CISCO, we strongly advocate these changes, and we believe that building a strong cloud subsystems is very important. So we have a strong architecture on the data center part of it, where you basically build a very scalable data center architecture. We call it, we are the Google of the cloud. irrespective of whether your workload is sitting in this data-centric world, your infrastructure needs to have the ability for these small applications to rapidly query your applications and infrastructure. That's what we call it a scalable, software-defined, cloud-centric infrastructure. That's the first thing that we are doing from Cisco to change this world. The second is on the mobile devices side. We have come out with something called Remote Expert Mobile, which is being used by State Bank of India as a means to do a wealth advisory with multiple of their high net worth individual. What happens in that process is that even if you're not in front of the customer, you can make a high-speed video calling, you can do a screen sharing, you can get another experts on the call in a 3-party video call. And it's a wonderful, because in your off-prem work time on a Saturday on a couch, you can really close the entire end-to-end transaction. That's the second piece what you are doing. And the third and most important thing is that we are trying to work with a lot of these ecosystem and regulators. For example, we are working very actively with a lot of hot startups to kind of expedite this entire piece by either trying to invest in them, like MobiKwik as an example is one of the companies that we invested in. And we are also trying to accelerate this entire piece through innovation incubation funds, etc., etc.